Hello everyone, welcome to your channel, Cap. I hope you have a great day. Today I am sharing an interesting movie with you, so before the video starts, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to watch more interesting movie. Thank you. The film starts when a guy named Max gets out of prison after serving 14 years for assault in another place. Lee Bowden and her teenage daughter Donnie are talking about what logo to use for their new business. Later that day, they join Sam Bowden, who is Lee's husband and Danny's father. They all go to watch a movie together, but they are annoyed by a man smoking in front of them. They don't know it's Max, and he's too focused on the movie to notice he's bothering others. After the movie, the family buys a snack. But when Sam tries to pay, the cash says it's already paid for. She points to a man outside, and Sam sees Max in his car. Nervous, he quickly tells his family to go inside, but when he looks back, Max is already gone. The next day, Sam plays racquetball with his coworker Lori Davis, who seems to like him after their game. He suggests they shouldn't see each other outside of work for a while, making Lori think his wife is upset about it. Sam admits that his wife Lee doesn't know about her, but Lori believes their friendship is harmless. After saying goodbye to Lori, Sam goes to his car, but someone grabs his keys. It's Max, who asks if Sam remembers him. Sam pretends he doesn't, but when Max refuses to return his keys, Sam admits he remembers him as a client from 14 years ago. Max finally gives back the keys and says he's thinking about settling down in their town. Sam wonders if Max is following him, but Max claims it's just a coincidence since the town is small. Sam drives away, but hears Max mumbling something about learning loss. When Sam stops to check, Max is gone that night. Sam suggests going out of town for the holidays, but Lee reminds him they can't take time off, and their daughter Donnie has summer school. This frustrates Sam, who complains about Donnie being punished for experimenting with substances just like they did in their youth. Later, at midnight, Lee hears fireworks and looks outside, only to see Max staring back at her. Alarmed, she wakes Sam, and they both go to the backyard to chase him away. When they get out, they can't find him anywhere. Later, Sam explains that Max was his client and is probably mad at him for losing his case the next morning before leaving for work. Sam tells Lee to keep Donnie inside in case Max tries something at his office. Sam talks to his colleague Tom Broadbent about Max, but they can't do anything because Max hasn't committed any crimes yet. Sam files a restraining order, but the hearing is in 10 days. He then tells Tom about Max's case. Max took advantage of a woman and beat her up. Sam knew the victim had a bad reputation, but he hid the reports because what Max did was too serious. Tom is disappointed in Sam for this, but Sam is offended by his actions because of what Max did to the victim. He was sure that Max wouldn't know because Max couldn't read. Later, when he goes home, Max joins Sam on the streets and tells him he learned to read and studied law while in prison. Max even represents himself to apply for an appeal, knowing what Max is hinting at. The lawyer offers him money to leave him alone, but Max says no money can give him back the 14 years he lost. After this, Sam returns to his office and gets a call from Lee, telling him to come home right away. Sam reports Max to the police, but after searching for him, the police dismiss the case due to a lack of evidence. They also find out Max has a lot of money from inheriting his late mother's barn. Days later, the family is still upset that Max got away with it, but Sam insists that if Max does something again, they'll catch him while attending a parade. Sam sees Max in the crowd, staring at his wife. The man confronts him, but Max makes LDD comments about Lee, which drives Sam to attack him. However, he acts innocent, so the crowd pushes Sam off. Later, Max goes to a local bar, where he meets Lori, who's already had too many drinks. She was stood up by her date, whom she admits is a married man. He then shares that he's an ex-convict, but he claims that he got arrested for attacking a sheriff who was harming another woman. Convinced that he's a good guy, Lori continues flirting with him, and things eventually escalate in the bedroom. To her horror, Max cuffed her before hurting her. The following day, the gruesome incident reaches the police. When Sam reports to work to check it out, he's surprised that the victim is Lori. She recounts that since he stood her up last night, she felt reckless and wanted to get back at him by sleeping with someone else. Now she regrets her actions. Sam encourages her to testify against Max because he'll keep repeating his crimes, but Lori refuses. She knows that she get persecuted because of how she dressed and acted. Her relationship with Sam might get revealed as well. Later, Sam speaks with Lieutenant Elgard, who subtly implies that Sam should use his family as bait to draw out Max's psychopathic tendencies. Since they can't put him in jail without evidence, they must trigger the man into doing something. However, Sam thinks this is outrageous. Instead, Sam soon hires a private investigator named Claude Kursek to watch Max when asked what his connection to the man is. Sam admits that he was his public defender after Max harmed a young woman. Kursek then points out that Sam's daughter is nearly the same age as Max's previous victim, making him worrying one night while stalking Max. Kursek reports to Sam that the man once had an inmate who complained about his smoking, so he broke his neck and bit off his tongue. However, the officers couldn't prove that he did it. After the call, Sam contacts Lori, who's now planning to move away. He apologizes for dragging her into his mess, but as their conversation progresses, Sam notices that Lee is standing behind him when he drops the call. Lee confronts him about his infidelity. She theorizes that Max chose Lori because she's Sam's mistress, so she hits her husband in the face. Donnie witnesses this, so she locks herself in her room, crying. Lee brings up how this isn't the first time that Sam has been disloyal to her, and they had to uproot their family to start over. She yells how it was pointless given that he did it again, but Sam defends that Lori was merely infatuated with him. He then admits that he's scared because of Max. He believes the man harmed Lori because he knew she wouldn't testify to avoid destroying her reputation due to Lori not testifying. Max probably knew that Lee would become suspicious and assume their relationship, thus destroying Sam's home life. Sam encourages his wife that, since they know what Max is up to, they can work together as a team to defeat him. However, Lee remains unconvinced, so Sam ends up sleeping on the couch that evening. Meanwhile, Kursek follows Max to a diner, only to find that the man has already paid for his meal. He then confronts Max, telling him to leave town. However, the psychopath is unfazed and even threatens Kursek not to provoke him. After this, Max stops by Sam's house and hands a dog collar to Lee, making it seem like he just found it. However, when she realizes who he is, Lee starts taunting him. Despite this, Max implies that he knows she's not happy, adding that things would have been different if her husband hadn't betrayed them both. Just then, Bonnie comes out, and as soon as Max lays his eyes on her, he speeds off. Meanwhile, Kursek meets up with Sam, reporting that following Max might become expensive given that the man is careful and aware. Instead, the investigator suggests hiring a hitman to take care of the madman. Sam reminds Kursek that he's a lawyer, therefore he can't act against the law. That night, Donnie receives a call from her new drama teacher, who claims to be checking on his list of students. He notes that she sounds troubled, so he encourages her to talk about it, unbeknownst to her. This is actually Max, who successfully charms the young lady. The following day, Donnie shows up to her drama class and meets Max, who's smoking. He shares it with the lady and further charms her by comparing her situation to the novel she's been reading. He also acknowledges how Donnie shouldn't be treated as a child, encouraging her to read more mature books. This shows the young woman's curiosity, but she soon gets suspicious and questions the man. Max admits who he really is, though he feigns innocence about her father's accusations. Donnie gets scared, but the man promises that he won't hurt her. Instead, they can be honest with each other, which is something Donnie can't do with her parents by manipulating her into thinking that she's in control. Max successfully gets close to Donnie and kisses her. However, Lee soon finds what they smoked in Danny's books, which leads Sam to confirm that Max went to his daughter's school desperate to protect her. He tells Kersey to hire men to kill Max. Before they carry this out, Sam meets with Max at a diner to give him a warning, only to receive an unfazed reaction when Sam gets home. Donnie worries about what her father will do. She then giddily tells him that Max didn't force himself on her, seeing her behavior. Sam aggressively interrogates his daughter, scaring her. He then tries apologizing, but Donnie screams at him to leave. Later, the hired men set out to beat Max to death. Sam oversees this, but to his surprise, Max overpowers the hitmen. Knowing that Sam is watching Max declare his dominance over them before leaving the following morning, Sam contacts a renowned lawyer, only to learn that Max has already hired him. Not long after, Max files a restraining order against Sam and reveals that he recorded Sam's threat when they met at the diner. The judge grants the restraining order, and Max's lawyer even petitions for Sam's disbarment because of this. Sam asks Kersey for a gun, but the man warns him that he'll be imprisoned if he kills Max. Considering this, Sam breaks down, ranting about how Max made him look like a threat. He's also being summoned for a 2-day emergency session in Raleigh, making Kursek predict that Max will break into his house while he's away. However, this will make it justifiable to kill him. With this, Sam pretends to fly to Raleigh, knowing Max is watching his every move. In truth, he sneaks back to the house with his wife's and daughter's help. Kursek also creates traps in Sam's house to help detect if there's an intruder while he stands guard downstairs. Lee finds Sam reading the Bible in bed. He recounts that Max told him to read the book of Job, where God took everything from the man to test his faith. This made him curious about his enemy's thoughts. Nothing happens that night, but the following day, Donnie finds a book outside that Max left for her. That night, the trap is triggered, making Keswick alert. He goes to the kitchen and finds the Bowen's maid while pouring himself a drink. Max, disguised as the maid he has already killed, reveals himself. Max then strangles and shoots Keswick. The noise wakes up the couple, but when they come downstairs, they only find the bodies. Sam discovers that Keswick was killed with piano wire, which he noticed was missing earlier. He realizes that Max has been secretly entering their house. He is angry. Sam grabs KK's gun and goes on a rampage until his family stops him. The next day, the family flees. Sam calls the authorities, explaining that they left because his family is in danger and they will only return if Max is caught. Unbeknownst to them, Max is hiding under their car. Later, the family takes their houseboat to the middle of the Cape Fear River. That night, it rained as they dined together. Sam checks the anchor outside because the boat keeps rocking. Max sneaks up on him and chokes him until he passes out. The violent man then goes into the houseboat and faces the woman. He mocks Donnie, so she throws boiling water on him. This doesn't really hurt Max, who then locks the woman in a cupboard while he assaults Lee. Meanwhile, Donnie is gathering supplies in the cupboard when Lee tries to take his gun. Max stops and handcuffs her. He drags a tied-up Sam inside to make him watch what he's going to do to his family. When Sam begs him to hurt him instead, Max stomps on his head. Lee shouts for him to stop and says she understands what it's like to see her life passing by. She begs him to do it with her and not her daughter. Max agrees and lights a cigarette in triumph, but Donnie pours kerosene on him, setting him on fire. Max jumps into the water and grabs a rope connected to the anchor. Later, Sam tries to steer the boat through the raging river, but the half-burnt Max gets back on board and points a gun at his face. He sets up a fake trial about Sam's mistake from 14 years ago and makes him admit that he hid a report about the victim's behavior. Sam confesses but says the victim's past doesn't excuse what he did. This makes Max furious, shout that he was Sam's client, and that report could have saved him from the suffering he went through for 14 years. Max then screams that Sam will feel all the pain he experienced. He points his gun at Lee and Donnie, ordering them to take off their clothes before a droning storm hits, causing the boat to spin and throw Max overboard. This gives the family a chance to jump into the water, but before they can escape, Max pulls Sam back inside. The two men fight while the boat keeps moving. Max finds the gun but fails to shoot Sam. Sam then crawls on the floor and uses Max's handcuffs to chain him to the boat. The boat crashes into a big rock and gets destroyed, leaving both men washed ashore. Sam plans to kill Max by dropping a rock on his head, but the tide pulls Max away. As Max sinks deeper into the river, he sings the hymn on Jordan's stormy banks, I Stand. Accepting his fate, Max finally disappears into the water, and Sam washes his bloody hands, trying to process what happened soon after he finds his family safe on the shore. After this horrible event, the family decides never to speak of Max or his crimes again. Donnie realizes their lives will never be the same. She accepts this, knowing that holding on to the past makes her die a little every day, so she chooses to live. Thank you for taking your precious time to watch this video. Also, comment and write a movie that you would like me to recap. See you in the next movie.